The power of Ngāpuhi lay in the way that it worked in the collaboration of all the tribes of the north, starting from Ngāti Whātua to Te Rarawa, to Ngāti Kahu, to Te Aupōuri, and Ngāti Hine, and the many other tribes and iwi and hapu that we have, that collaborated together to form what they call Ngāpuhi Nui Tunu. Each iwi had its own sort of strengths in different areas, and their connections to those different areas as well.
One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. Asian girl rocks my world, who'll be there by my side forever. She's got class, she's got style, wrapped up in an Asian smile, and I adore ya. Island girl, I love the way that you move me, and island girl, I love the way that you soothe me, love the way you soothe me, soothe me.
2000 it was, if I remember rightly. I was a La Leche League leader, which is mother-to-mother breastfeeding support. At the time, we were getting these sort of notices through the community network, talking about joining up all the organisations and how that would look. It set the tone and it set the kind of way to work, and I think people in the community were really comfortable with it because they felt like they had a say, and it was about them, and it was about looking at what they wanted in their community, not the council saying you shall do this or this is what we think you need, which hadn't worked in the past really.
Island girl, I love the way that you soothe me, love the way you soothe me, soothe me. Feels like I'm dreaming with my eyes.
Hi.
The way you love me, girl. A la 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 long, a la 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 long, 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 long. Come on. A la 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 long, a la 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 long, 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 long.
I remember the first meeting for the Community Wellbeing Summit in New Lynn, and I thought that was great. The whole idea of community, council, government working together to look at what are the key issues in our community. I think the whole concept has proven to be really successful in actually getting projects happening on the ground.
We had 7 calls to action at that time. The hope was that we would probably focus down because we were worried about overcommitting and people getting too involved in stuff.
Our work with promoting great parenting positioned us into a place where we were saying what are the opportunities for us to reach out to the parents in the city, and at that stage the early childhood education call to action about, I think, celebrating our children and promoting the value of early childhood education had the first toddler day out.
Yeah, it's a flagship event for Waitakere. It's on Children's Day every year, and I think there's always a lot of families that come that are interested in finding out about early childhood services and then go on to enrol their children.
It just grows and grows. Last year we had 18,000 people come to the stadium for the day.
The kaupapa of Te Koro Waimanaki was to wrap around our whānau, and in particular our tamariki under 5, because that's where we saw the most harm. We needed to get to the Māori community, and we needed to do it in a kaupapa Māori way.
So that allowed us to bring forth all our traditional child raising practices that were safe and that were about safety in the whānau, and put them out into the community.
Many things have sprung from that. We have a radio program that has been on air for the last 4 years with Māori Radio, Radio Waitakere.
I'm hoping that every migrant family can stay in New Zealand happily. They need to have a good job, good house, good community support.
Everybody wanted to be involved in every call to action. We had enough people to populate it, and so we launched into 7 calls to action.
I just love it every day. I just love it. It's a constantly creative thing.
I've been really wanting to get hold of you. I really wanted you to be part of this film we're making about the Collaboration Wellbeing project.
Oh, okay, I heard that was going on.
What I really wanted to know is about your role. What was your role in the project?
I was the second manager of the Collaboration project after Mark Allen. He'd come from council, and council had such a strong initiating role. I think it was good that I came along after Mark, because it was really important that of the 3 partners around the project, local, central government and community, that there was a sense of equal partnership without anyone dominating. So I think for the second manager to come out of the community sector was important for the project. And for me, you know, collaboration is kind of part of my DNA these days. It's how I operate. And I think when you combine collaboration with innovation, you just get real magic happening.
For no lover, yes I am looking for love. I'm just trying to find another, so that I can do something.
I understand that Tony Ray had done some work through the Wellbeing projects, that the reports.
What were the things that were really going to make a difference? Were they best done within that call to action? Could they be best done perhaps elsewhere? Those sorts of questions were starting to be asked.
It's sort of like unpacking an onion or peeling an onion. Where do you start?
And I think there's a lot more critical thinking, well at least I hope there was a lot more critical thinking about where we were going.
And housing had been identified as an issue. I think the other one was around sort of connected communities. It was around IT.
And the area that we found that was a real key was emergency housing. We had no emergency housing at that time at all in West Auckland.
You realise, as I said, how big it is, and so what could be done had to be sort of local projects.
The key issue that came up was the caravan park out in Ranui, and you know, we had many discussions around the table, and I think there's been huge successes as the hub was developed, and people from the caravan park could actually engage in that and start to see their picture change.
And I think the housing call to action in Waitakere is recognised as a key player.
Running away with me.
So what does a good life look like for you in Waitakere?
Everyone's employed, they have stable wages, have a warm house to go home to, roof over their head. That's about it. Spot fence.
Feels like I'm dreaming with my eyes wide open. You can have my heart, but consider it a token. I knew that from the start, that we would never part. Hanging from your neck was the key to my heart.
Whenever I'm with you, I just can't describe. Feet are on the ground, but I'm feeling so high. How you make me feel like I'm walking in the sky. Sitting on the ground with a pair of birds now. Sitting on the cloud, beats hanging on the
We should have a youth centre for kids that haven't got places to stay instead of people being on the streets.
It's like a saying, like there's like a big elephant in the room and everyone knows it, and just no one talks about it, and it's pretty much about like everything that happens around here. Like you see people like getting mugged and no one will do anything about it. They just ignore it, and it's something that needs to change in the community. Just people need to like notice things more.
And we need some more money too. Yeah.
Now we've been diving from the dark into dawn.
We've got 2 new calls now which are quite relevant to the time, food security and one around building local jobs for local people.
I guess it seems to me that the potential for community gardens is becoming. They're popping up all over the place like mushrooms. I think it's a great way to create community. It's very non-specific. People come along, ensure the gardening's a part of it, but I guess do gardens get created by communities or do gardens create communities? It goes in both directions, doesn't it?
You're putting a tomato in?
Oh, everything.
Well done.
You've got to get the right people around the table with the right information to bring the right resources to bear.
We're not our own city anymore, we're part of a bigger region.
I think one of the things that the collaboration project did was it confirmed a culture that already existed.
We had some really, and still have, really dynamic people working within the calls to action from quite different groups. And I think it's really important to harness that energy and that enthusiasm.
What we're doing out west is unique and it has been different, and people are starting to adopt some of those ways now, but actually we've got a lot to learn as well.
For Māori and for non-Māori, this is a really good way to work together.
Yes, the issues are the same, but they're way bigger now. On our own, we can only do so much, but together we can do way more.
It's about children. Like, if we're not working for the future of our children, then what are we doing any of this work for, really?
Many of the calls to action carried on in different forms, and the connections and the relationships that were made up have continued. The conversation for the future is how do we build on that platform?
I think fasten your seatbelts because it's accelerated learning. We have to open our ears to listen to each other even when it's uncomfortable, but also hang on to your seatbelts because it's a heck of an amazing ride.
What was formed under the Wellbeing strategy was the sense of kotahitanga, the coming together. I don't think we ever stop collaborating. So, haere tonu, keep going.
So, what do we do now?
One love, one heart, let's get together and feel alright. Asian girl rocks my world, who'll be there by my side forever. She's got class, she's got style, wrapped up in an Asian smile, and I adore you.